Hello and welcome to today's STEAM Friday program. This particular one is designed for ages 3 to 6 and we are going to be doing a nature weave experiment/art project, and it will involve collecting some nature, so I'll be doing that soon with you as well. But I want to start with our story, which is called The Magic Garden. Take a journey through the magical world of nature. So we're going to go on a journey in this book, and then together we are going to go on a journey outside to collect some nature for our Nature Weave project. So this is written by Lemniscates. I think it only has one name, so this person only has one name, or it's an author's name. I don't know. Anyways, this is called The Magic Garden. Chloe lives in a magic garden, but she doesn't even know it. One autumn afternoon, Chloe walks by a colorful tree. The branches sway softly in the breeze, trying to get her to notice them, but Chloe doesn't even see the tree. It's a pretty big tree. She's looking right past it. Suddenly, Chloe hears something. She leans in closer to the tree. The wind seems to whisper to her, "Look at these colorful leaves. Soon winter will come and these leaves will fall to the ground. But in the spring, new leaves will come." Have you ever really looked at this garden? Wonderful, amazing changes happen here every day. Sleepy caterpillars transform into beautiful butterflies that fly off to explore the world. At night, in this garden, there are insects that shine as bright as stars in the dark sky. Others gather in choirs to sing to the moon. There's insects. Have you guys seen any bugs yet this year? I bet there's quite a few out now. Many shy creatures live in this garden too. Some borrow the colors of their surroundings to hide themselves. They dare to ask, "Can you find me?" What kind of creatures do you see? I see an owl hiding here. I see some bugs on these pieces of dark grass or plant. What else? There's a grasshopper that looks like a leaf, or some kind of bug anyways. There's a stick bug. I'm sure there's more. What else can you spot? Others in this garden are known for their bad tempers. They show off their bright colors to warn everyone, saying, "Don't get too close." This frog here looks very grumpy. He's warning the others. We've got a bright colored salamander here. There's lots of bright colored little caterpillars, a snake and a bee. Lots of things here. There are snakes in this garden that can perform incredible feats, like eating a meal 3 times their size. Look at this fat snake. He swallowed something real big, and this snake looks like he's eating a frog. It's also really big. In this garden, birds weave wonderful nests, and spiders spin spectacular webs. There's a whole bunch of birds' nests and webs in there. See how many you can spot. The bees in this magical garden dance delicately through the breeze, telling of where to find the best flowers. There's the pollinators collecting pollen from the flowers to make their honey. When springtime arrives, the trees are filled with beautiful blossoms. The bees take nectar from the flowers and turn it into sweet honey. There they are, collecting that nectar. Have you seen any trees with blossoms yet this year? And have you seen any bees collecting nectar? From the same flowers, fruits are born, and from those fruits, new seeds. And if a seed drops to the ground, it soon grows into a new tree, and the magic starts all over again. Lots of fruit. The wind has told Chloe many secrets of this magical garden. Now it softly sways and whispers again, magic, 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 to remind her that there is magic all around to explore and discover. And there we've got some fun facts here. How do caterpillars transform into butterflies? Why do fireflies glow? Why do animals camouflage themselves? Why do animals have bright colors? How can snakes eat meals that are bigger than they are? How and why do spiders and birds spin and weave? What is pollination? Why do bees dance? This is the magic that Chloe found in her garden, just a tiny bit of all the magic you can discover in nature. So if you'd like to learn more about some of those questions, you can feel free to order this book on Track Pack on our library catalog and get it shipped to you, or shipped to the library here, and you can pick it up on the hold shelf. So now we are going to go outside and collect some nature and see what we can explore and discover in our very own backyards. Okay, we are moving on to the STEAM portion of our project here, and in our kit, if you were able to get one of the kits from the library, this is the Nature Weaving Kit, and it's designed for ages 3 to 6. In this kit, you have a cardboard square, or rectangle really, some yarn, and a little surprise, which I'll show you in just a moment. You will also need some scissors and possibly some tape, although I'll show you how to do it without tape as well. And we're going to need to collect our nature bits, which I will do in just a moment here as well. So for our kit, this one is pretty minimal. So I included a couple treats. There's either some candies in there or a sucker of some kind. So be sure to enjoy those with parents' permission, and be careful if you've got the smaller candies. Just be careful not to choke or anything. And yes, always ask your parents first. So in the kit is this yarn wrapped around our cardboard rectangle. So you can unwrap that if you like. We've got that here. And we're going to prepare our nature weaving piece. So the project that we're going to be making will look like this. So we're actually going to cut some slits into our cardboard here on both sides. You can do it the long ways or the skinny ways. I think I'll do mine the skinny ways, and I'll just show you that. Actually, I'm going to measure it out with a ruler and a pencil, just so you get an idea of how far apart I'm making the cuts. You don't have to be precise with yours. I'm just doing this approximate. So I'm going to start about 1/2 inch in, and I'm going to make a line every inch, and there we go. And we'll do that on the other side as well. So I'm starting 1/2 inch from this side, and then a line every inch as well. Yep, that looks about right. So then we're going to take our scissors, and hopefully you can see my marks there. Like I said, you can just do these at random. You don't have to mark it out, but we're going to make little tiny slits in our cardboard, and you may need a parent's help with this because cardboard can be pretty stiff to cut, so be sure to ask for help if you need it. And I'm just cutting about 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch into the cardboard here. So we're just making all our little notches, and this is where we're going to wrap our yarn into. So where the tape comes in, if you want to use tape, you're going to put your yarn in the first notch here, just like that, and you can tape this piece to the back, but I think what I'll actually do is just tie a little knot in mine. I'll tie it 2 times so that my knot's a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to pull this tight like that. So I have my knot here. I'm going to wrap it into this next notch, and then across the back I'm going to wrap it up to this notch on the other side, and then into this notch, again, wrap across the back. So it's diagonal on the back and it's straight across on the front. Hopefully you can see how that is going there. And I think I'm actually making this too tight. I'm going to undo that a little bit because we want to have it loose enough that we can fit our nature pieces in here. So I'm going to try and loosen that a little bit. So don't pull it quite as tight as I was doing. So again, we'll make this a little looser. You can always tighten it up later. So see, I've got it looser now. It can be tight across the back if you want, but on the front, we're going to need a little space to weave our nature in there. So just continuing that all the way up. Again, just checking to make sure I'm doing this loose enough. Oh, that's a little too tight. There we go. So before I tie a knot at the end, I'm going to just leave this tail here until the end of my weaving, and then once I know I've got it how tight I want it, then I can tie it tighter at the back. So I'm going to leave this here, take you guys with me outside, and we're going to collect a little bit of nature. Okay, so I'm here with you in my front yard. It is a beautiful sunny April day. I am pre-recording this in April, so the nature that you see here may not reflect what we've got in May when you're watching this, but as you can see, my little plants are starting to come up in the garden. I haven't cleaned this up from the fall and winter yet because it's good places for bees and other pollinators to hide and build up their strength in the spring before it's hot enough to live. So yeah, you're not supposed to clean up too early, which is my excuse here. But yeah, things are coming up. Anyways, when you're watching this in May, you'll probably have an even greater variety of fun nature bits to collect and choose from. But I've got my scissors here, and I'm going to just trim some of these dead parts. I'm not really going to collect any of the live stuff because I don't want to disrupt it. But here I've got some lovely dead plant things with some dried flowers on the ends. This twig type thing, this reed thing will be nice. I'll cut that into some smaller bits. There's lots of pine cones on my lawn here that I can collect, so I think I'll put a few pine cones in my pile. And there's also lots of twigs over here that I can collect. Different kinds of tree branches and stuff here. Wow, it is a beautiful day out today. I chose the right moment for this. So I'll put those in my pile. And let's see, maybe some things from my pine tree up here. Actually, I saw, here's a little piece of pine tree stuck in my other tree, so that piece has already fallen off, so I don't need to cut it off. Put that in my pile, and yeah, I'm just gonna collect a few more things and then I'll go back inside. Okay, so I've brought my nature bits back inside. You can see my pile here. Everything is very deadish because it's still very early spring here, like I said. But I have this one green piece from the pine tree, and so I'm also going to add a couple green ribbons. These are just from my home. I'm going to weave those in there as well to give it a bit of color, but if you're doing when you're doing this in later spring, you can incorporate some more live and colorful things like leaves and things. I did also want to mention that I highly recommend only doing nature collecting in your own yard or someone else's yard who has given you permission. So don't do this in public parks. Don't cut flowers down or anything in parks or even public land. Just try to avoid that. Do it only in your own yard or a neighbor's yard who has given you permission, and make sure it's okay to do it in your own yard with your parents as well. So I'm going to get started on my weaving. I found this sunflower that I had planted last year and never cut down, so it's all dried and it looks really cool. So this is going to be my focal piece, and I'm going to weave this in here. So I'm going to put the stem under the first one, over the second string, under the next string, over that string, under, and then I think I'll put it under the both bottom ones just to make it a little more secure. So we're just weaving that in there, and I'm gonna push it down a little bit, and there I've got my flower at the top and the stem overhangs a little bit. Next, I think I'll do this kind of flower thing. This is like a dried flower thing that I found in my yard. So I'm going to break that off. I'm actually going to start it in this one. So I'm going to go under the second string, over, under, and over this one, and under the last one there, and tuck it down just a little bit further and push it up next to that first one. So you can see I'm making the strings get a little tighter in there the more things that I add. I'm going to do this piece of pine. I'm just going to pull these little bits off, and I'm going to lose some pine needles as I go, but that's okay. So again, I'll start at the second string this time and go under the second string, over the third, under, and this is great dexterity practice for your fingers. Really good practice to get coordinated at things. I'm not going to push it all the way down because that's about how far it wants to go without losing too many needles. So there we go. You can see how it's coming along. So yeah, great practice for working those little fingers, getting some practice in with your fine motor skills. Some of these, like this branch, is really pokey, so it really clings to the yarn. So I have to kind of pull up on the yarn as I'm threading it underneath. It's definitely a more challenging piece, but I think you guys can handle it, handle the challenge. If you're getting frustrated with anything, just be sure to ask for help from someone. There, again, I'm not going to push that one all the way down. I'm just going to cut some of it off. If I can. It's kind of a thicker one. There we go. And this little piece I think I'll put down here because that'll look cool. So I'll go under and over there, just down there. So it really hasn't taken much nature to fill this up. I'm going to pull this top piece tighter again. And to add my color, I'm going to add some of this string. I think I'll do this piece first. So I'll go, let's go on top of that one, under this one, on top, under. We're just alternating here, over and under each string. So there, that piece of colored string is the perfect length, and I'll just push it up to that stick there. This piece of string I'll put on kind of the middle here. So I'm going to go under the last piece, over, under, and your tiny little fingers will be good for this technique. Just try to use your nails and your fingers to poke each piece through. You can lift the yarn pieces up to try to get it in. I'm actually going to wrap this one around the top and pull it back and go back down. So we'll go over this piece, under this piece, over that piece, and under here. And you could tie it at the bottom, but I'll just leave it like that. So hopefully you can see how that looks. There's my string there. And I'll add one more ribbon. Maybe I can fit it on the very side here if I push my bits over a little bit. So we'll do it here. We'll go under the bottom string, over, under, over and under, and just kind of tuck it behind this piece of pine. I'm going to cut it a little shorter at the bottom. So I could add this piece too, but I don't think I will. I'll just keep it like that. And I'm almost done. I just want to add maybe a couple more little twigs. These flowers are really cute, so maybe I'll do one of those. Try not to break the flower off though. So we'll go under the top string, over the next string, under. I'm just lifting the yarn as I go. I'm pushing this as I go. It was definitely a good idea to loosen my yarn at the start because it would have been very tight to get this all in here. But if your yarn is still too tight, you can loosen it some more. Just gonna pull that all the way down. Oh, I broke off the flower. That's okay. Okay, I'm gonna push it back up a little bit. Oops, I broke off another piece. So, that's okay. I'm actually just going to tuck the flower right there so it still gets that look, and cut this piece off at the bottom. There we go. And I think I want one of these sticks on the end here, and then I'll be pretty much done. So put that under this string, over the next string. Whoops. Oh, I'm wrecking my nails. It's frustrating. Under that string, over that string. And this one is a nice thick stick, so it kind of holds the edge nice and tight. There we go. Haha, and that I think is going to finish my nature weave. I love the big sunflower at the top and the little pops of color from the yarn and the string. So yeah, I'm just gonna tighten it up at the bottom here, pulling my knot at the back, and then I'll tighten this, and then I'll cut the yarn off and add a little knot here, or you can tape it like I said. But the cardboard holds the yarn pretty nice and tight as well, so oops, I should have tied the knot before I cut it so short. Learn from that. Don't cut your tie your knot first, then cut your yarn, because now I struggle to tie this. Okay. Oh well. Okay, I'm just gonna tape that piece because I can't tie a knot now. So here is the alternative. there. Just add a piece of tape to the back and it'll stay. So there is our nature weave. I like how this one turned out. I've still got tons of nature, so I could definitely make more of these if I wanted, but I hope you enjoyed this and I hope you had fun collecting your nature and using your dexterity skills to weave this all together. And thank you so much for watching and participating, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.